Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Imperium Gaming, and welcome to the third episode of Kingdom Come Deliverance History, a series where I use the game as a visual tool to showcase various aspects of late medieval life. In honor of the upcoming Band of Bastards expansion, we'll be taking a look at Mercenaries. Before we begin, I just want to address one small thing. In my last video analyzing Band of Bastards, I said that there were new combat animations and even a new combo. Well, this isn't exactly the case. I misinterpreted some of these animations, leaving me to think that they were new when, in fact, they weren't. Regardless, I decided to leave the video up because I don't want to hide from my mistakes, and I still discuss other things I found interesting in the live stream. With that out of the way, let's get started. If we look at the etymology of the word mercenary, we'll find the Latin root merces, which, depending on context, can be defined as wages. We also find this root in a number of modern English words, such as merchandise and mercantile, and not to mention all of its Romance derivatives, like Italian merce and Spanish mercado. So, it should come as no surprise that a mercenarius is quite literally someone that is hired for pay, and in our context, hired for purposes of warfare. In ancient Greek, we see the term mistophoroi, which literally translates to those who bear wages. And in modern German, we see Schuldner, possibly originating from a kind of medieval Italian currency known as soldi. In short, money talks. For example, in Xenophon's Anabasis, which details the famous March of the 10,000, the Greek mercenaries threatened to mutiny against their contractor unless they're paid more than originally promised. I'm simplifying things here for sake of time, but I think it should still give you all an idea. Generally speaking, mercenaries were contracted soldiers who fought for pay. Plain and simple. Mercenaries were used for a number of reasons, but their employment was especially useful when raising and maintaining a large homegrown army was difficult. You could raise a mercenary force of experienced, self-furnished soldiers for your immediate and sometimes long-term goals.
If you've got the coin.
In this context, the recruitment of mercenaries could help augment and/or support your existing forces with relative ease. For example, the Italian urban city commune of Siena could only muster an estimated force of 300 militia cavalrymen, and would have to rely on mercenaries for additional cavalry support. It's also well known that Philip II of Macedon, Alexander the Great's father, could rely on a steady supply of useful and expendable Greek mercenaries. In the trailer for Band of Bastards, we overhear Sir Radzig Kobyla telling Henry,
"The roads really aren't safe. I simply don't have the men."
Although Radzig isn't recruiting a large mercenary army, as was the case for the Italian condottieri, I like how the historical concept of, hey, I don't have enough men, I need outside experienced help, is illustrated in the game. Furthermore, it was also the case that mercenaries were sought out as specialists, renowned for their expertise in particular arms and tactics. We know of the famed Cretan archers and Rhodian slingers of antiquity, as well as the Genoese crossbowmen and Swiss Reichslaufer of the medieval and Renaissance periods. Returning again to the Anabasis, Cyrus the Younger places great emphasis on his Greek mercenaries because of their well-known specialized strengths, that is, hoplite phalanx warfare in open-pitched battle. In Kingdom Come's Band of Bastards, I think this idea of specialist mercenary forces is well conveyed with the character Stefan Fletching. He doesn't fight with a melee weapon like the other mercenary bastards. He instead opts for a bow and arrow, which, as an aside, is especially fitting, considering that his surname is actually etymologically linked to the word arrow. These next 2 points are minor, but some that I think are still worth mentioning. We don't know much about Kuno of Reichwald, the mercenary captain in Band of Bastards, except that he is a nobleman. This is important to note because, historically speaking, an overwhelming majority of these captains were in fact members of the nobility. For example, just take a look at Francesco Sforza, the Duke of Milan and a well-known condottiere. Going back to the expansion's trailer, It only makes sense that Ratzig would want Henry to make sure that the so-called band of bastards doesn't get too disorderly. The Greek orator Isocrates refers to the robbery, violence, and general lawlessness of mercenaries. And although we should take this rhetoric with a grain of salt, the raiding and plundering of the surrounding countryside by mercenary bands wasn't unheard of. Look at what Sigismund's Cumans do to Skalitz, and even Kuno himself admits that he's no saint. And that was my brief overview on Mercenaries. With the recent confirmation that the Band of Bastards narrative will indeed focus on a group of mercenaries, I figured it'd be a nice and relevant addition to the series. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, and one more thing. Thank you all for helping me reach nearly 50 subscribers. That's awesome. All the likes, comments, and retweets, it means the world to me that you all enjoy my content and that you want to see more. Thanks for watching, and for more on your favorite historical games, stay tuned with Imperium Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, and on our blog. Links in the video description. Thanks again, and until next time.